I'll tell you one thing, Trump is much more concerned about looking weak than he is about getting us into war. That's why this is so dangerous. We are on the brink of war with Iran because we have an erratic commander-in-chief with no strategy, no plan, and he's got a bunch of hawks in his administration that he can't control. Some of the same hawks like John Bolton who got us into Iraq. The parallels between Iran today and Iraq 15 years ago are frightening. We've got some of the same people pushing us into war. We've got a weak commander-in-chief who dodged serving in his own generation's war and therefore doesn't have the credibility to stand up to these hawks. There are also a lot of parallels with Vietnam because I think what Pompeo and Bolton are trying to do is provoke a Gulf of Tonkin type incident that politically will force Trump to respond. And we saw how erratic his leadership is when he ordered airstrikes and then just a few hours later called them off. He clearly has no strategy and no plan. Now make no mistake, Iran is an enemy of the United States and they shot down an American aircraft. We should respond, but we need to respond in a way that de-escalates the situation, doesn't escalate. In a way that says to Iran, you do not shoot down our aircraft or attack our forces with impunity. We're gonna prevent you from doing that again, but we do not invite a war. I actually fought Iranians on the ground in 2004. I saw Americans killed by Iran and its weapons. I will fight Iran if it is necessary, but this war is not necessary. So here's what I would do as Commander-in-Chief. First of all, I would respond to Iran's aggression with a clear, unmistakable response that deters them from doing something like that again. You may have heard recently about American efforts to shut off part of Russia's electrical grid. I would just do that in southern Iran where the missiles were fired that took out the American aircraft. Second, I would engage with our allies. We wouldn't be in this situation if Trump had kept us in the Iran nuclear deal.
Therefore, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Regardless of whether you think it's a perfect deal, it prevented Iran from moving towards a nuclear weapon. We've got to get back in the deal, and this is the time to engage our allies, especially our European allies, in doing so. Third, I would get an international coalition together to protect the international sea lanes in the Gulf. This is a shared interest with our allies. It should be an opportunity for us to build a coalition, to increase leverage on Iran, and to repair some of the diplomatic damage that the Trump administration has done. And finally, fourth, I would make it very clear to our troops, to our allies, and to Iran itself what our strategy is and what our end game is. We need to make sure that the mission to our troops is clear. We need to make sure that our allies understand how important their partnership is. And rather than back Iran into a corner from which they have no escape, we've got to give them a clear path to complying with what we want, to being a better partner in the region, not an adversary, to stop them from attacking our allies and our interests, and to move towards, in the long run, a much better bilateral relationship between our countries. That's what I would do. This commander-in-chief is erratic, he's irresponsible, and fundamentally, he's unpatriotic. We need moral leadership back in the White House, and that's what I would deliver as the next president of the United States.